Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Happy Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a lot to cover with you today. Do me a favor and let me know in the comments if you appreciate this format where I go over a little bit of each article and then leave you the link so that you may revisit it if you like, instead of me using up an entire video to just go over one article and talk about one subject matter. I kind of like this because I get to share with you everything that I look at on a personal basis every morning, but let me know what you think. First article, ladies and gentlemen, it is a disgrace. It is very embarrassing in my opinion. Americans are now crossing the border into Mexico in order to get relief at the gas station. While the U.S. President met with the Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, the conversation shifted rather awkwardly for the American as the Mexican leader discussed an exodus of Americans seeking a better life. I think that they're playing with words there, or cheaper gas on the southern side of the border. And I know I'm laughing because of the words they're using here, but I think it's pretty embarrassing, to tell you the truth. It continues to say down here, as the discussion turned toward the war in Ukraine, inflation, and soaring gas prices, the president of Mexico told our president that Americans are welcome to drive across the border into Mexico to save money at the pump. And he says, quote, "We have decided that it was necessary for us, meaning Mexico, to allow Americans who live close to the border to go and get their gasoline on the Mexican side at a lower price." How far we have fallen, ladies and gentlemen. And let me just go ahead and give you a comparison of what gas prices are in Mexico and what they are on the border of, I think it's Tijuana is bordered by San Diego, I think, but go ahead and leave it in the comments and correct me if I'm wrong. So as of the 11th of July, a gallon of gasoline in Mexico is going for about 89 pesos, 89.5 pesos, or 23.6 pesos per liter, which turns out to be about $4.32 per gallon in US dollars. So if we take a look at the average price per gallon in San Diego is $6.18, ladies and gentlemen. So by crossing the border into Mexico, they are saving almost $2 a gallon. Incredible what the United States is turning into a country that now has to go across the border to get cheaper pharmaceuticals and to get cheaper gas. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that those of you who were able to watch my video, not one video, but 2 or 3 that I put out in the past saying, get yourselves a generator, even if it's a small one, and get yourselves a small air conditioner if you do not get a generator that powers your house. So that if you live in an area that gets extremely hot, where the grid may go down, that you can at least cool down one of your rooms. Texans urged to conserve power as grid operator warns of possible rolling blackouts amid heat wave. Same thing in areas that get really cold. You should be prepping for winter right now. You should have been prepping for this heat wave a month or 2 ago. When I put out videos saying, hey, listen, this is a time that we should be preparing for this. Get your ACs now. Get your generators now. And right now, you should be concentrating on preparing for winter, especially if you live in an area of the country or the world where you have winters, where you have really cold weather, to make sure that you can keep your heat going even during grid outages or power outages. And even if you do have, like, let's say, a big generator that will run your entire house, it is always good to have a backup, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That way, if your system goes down, your main system goes down, you're sitting there with what? A big central air or a big central heating unit that's not working because a part is broken and the people that fix it can't get the parts to fix it. So you're sitting there with a big generator that's going to power your entire house, but you don't have a system to be able to run off of it. So having a small backup, it doesn't even have to be a backup that will heat or cool your entire house, but just having a small backup that will at least keep 1 or 2 rooms within your house at the temperature that you need it to be for whatever time of the year it is. It's just a smart thing to do. I think we've learned throughout the years, those of you that are here that are new, Please learn from this. Even if you're not prepared right now for this specific thing, think about preparing for that as well. Because like I said previously, you don't want to end up freezing just because you don't have a small backup that will save your life. And you don't want to end up sweltering in the heat just because you don't have a small AC backup that can literally save your life as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to cover this really quick because you have to start getting prepared for really high natural gas prices again. They will come back. The reason that natural gas prices are low are because of this. Right here, you remember the explosion that happened in the Freeport plant? I believe it's in Texas, I think it was. Let me see. Yes, in Texas. That was a plant that exports liquid natural gas. So they turn the natural gas into liquid and then they export it to other countries. Well, when this plant exploded, when they had their accident in this plant, it started to restrict the amount of natural gas that we exported, therefore giving us more of a natural gas pump here, more of a stock here in the United States. Now, I do believe that the other explosions that have happened are also exporting plants, meaning that they exported natural gas. So now we're able to fill our reserves here in the United States. However, when those plants go back into production, when they're working again, they're going to continue to export that gas, especially if it's during the winter, which is when Europe is going to need it the most. So you have to start thinking about that now. Start getting ready for winter now. And I'm going to show you what the prices are going to look like here in a second. But here it says, Bloomberg data shows that just that one terminal impacts about 20% of all U.S. LNG exports, much of which has been designated to supply stricken Europe. Freeport LNG has said the facility could reopen by October, but some analysts have pointed out that the facility could remain closed for much, much longer. The silver lining is low U.S. stockpiles are being filled up as the export plant in Texas has left more natural gas on the grid, which is, of course, bad news for Europe because they are not now able to stock up for the winter, making them more reliant on Russian gas, which is not what they want. Now, if you take a look, it was around the 8th or the 7th of June that explosion took place. And you can see that right here, this signifies the 7th of June of this year. And you can see that prices were at pretty much all-time high. They were at $9.29. And then as soon as that happened, just within a few days, here within a couple of weeks, you're looking at prices down to $5.52, and they have since risen to about, where are we at now? About $6.50 or so. When we start exporting natural gas again, because those plants are back up and running, these prices, in my opinion, are going to skyrocket even further than what they were before. The reason for that is two things. Because Europe is going to be sucking it up as fast as we can ship it out. And during that time, we're going to be right in the middle of winter. Right? So we're going to be needing a lot of it. We're going to be demanding a lot of it. At the same time, this administration, in my opinion, is going to allow for us to export as much as we possibly can, inflicting a really big blow on the prices here in the United States. So get ready now to start paying very high prices for heating your home this winter. I stated before that if you stock up now on the things that you need, and even food, a lot of food and everything that you're going to need, if you stock up now at these prices, then when those winter bills start coming in, you can fall back on some of your preps in order to be able to keep warm. Trains could stop running in the U.S. literally 1 week from now, and this was published on the 12th, so 2 days ago. And this has to do with some kind of a union strike, I believe. But I've always said, ladies and gentlemen, that it doesn't really matter why. What matters is the outcome. What will the outcome be? Here it says railroad freight traffic across the United States could come to a screeching halt July 18th if progress isn't made on a labor contract between national rail carriers and their unions. Union officials stress they do not want to go on strike, but argued that they are being forced to consider the option in a bid to get better benefits, wages, and staffing. Prices are going to continue to go up for a long time. I mean, just the CPI print that came out yesterday, I talked about it. It's the highest that I've ever seen it. And I think that it's going to continue to go up. Even if it goes down a little bit, the prices that you pay for the things that you need to live will continue to go up. So this is the time to prepare. And for some good news, ladies and gentlemen, the USDA sees bigger corn and winter wheat crops. To me, that is great news if it's true. I remember speaking about this. I don't know if it was yesterday's video or the day before. I said that the USDA usually comes out and says, yes, we're doing great. The numbers look great. And then when the harvest actually comes out and the numbers are actually sought out by individuals, they come out with lesser numbers than what they had before, bringing the price of those commodities up. So I hope that this is true. If it is, this is great news. And I would also hope that if this is true, that we here in the United States get to keep most of these crops. That way we have a really good carryover into next year, right? Because wheat and corn are two of the staples that's used in almost everything that we consume here in the United States and around the world. This here says global demand for U.S. cattle looks positive. I'm not going to go over this article, but I brought this up because I want to give you all a warning. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have what I think is a respite in the price of beef. Right? The price of beef right now, in my opinion, is not terrible. I think it may get a little bit better. So hear me out on this. I think that the price of beef may get a little bit better. And this is why. I've been seeing a lot of reports, right, and a lot of other channels talking about how the price of hay down south is exorbitant. I mean, you're talking about $75 to $100 for a square bale of hay. That is ridiculous. When at one time you could buy it for $5, $7, now you're paying 20 times more for that same thing. Ranchers and farmers are not going to be able to afford to keep and feed whatever cattle they have. So right now, they are selling those cattle into the market at a blistering pace. Right, ladies and gentlemen? And when I mean selling them, I mean that they are being culled because they cannot afford to feed their cattle. That is putting a glut of beef into the market, right? And it's also helping exports, right? But what's going to happen next year and the year after when that glut of cattle that they put out into the market that they culled, they haven't replenished those numbers yet because a lot of the cattle that they're putting into the market are also heifers. And you can't just bring a new heifer online and have it start having calves so that you can then feed them and raise them. So take advantage of this time that we have now, probably for the next 6 months to 9 months, I would say, that we're going to have a glut of beef in the market. Take advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. And if you pressure can, put that pressure can into work. If you have a freeze dryer, put that freeze dryer to work. I'm going to put my freeze dryer to work. As soon as it starts cooling down here, I'm just going to be freeze drying beef like there was no tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to catch up to us eventually. And for some good news, ladies and gentlemen, this, in my opinion, is great news. Women become more proficient with firearms, and they push against vulnerability. Firearms are the great equalizers. You can take a lady who's 120 pounds and put her up against a man who's 350 pounds, and they'll be equal as long as each of them has a firearm. So this, in my opinion, is great news. And the women who are now proficient with firearms account for the largest group of new gun owners. So here in the last year or so, women account for the largest group of new gun owners. It says women now make up 42% of gun owners in the U.S., according to a recent study from Harvard University. Over the last 5 years, there has been a 14% increase in the number of women who are first-time gun owners, with 3.5 million women joining the ranks between January 2019 and April 2021. That is great news. I do have a payday prep video later on this afternoon that is a commissary payday prep. And ladies and gentlemen, well, just watch that video because the prices, although they're not terrible, they're not great. not compared to the last time that I visited. Having said that, have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you stay safe today. Have a great day today. Remember that tomorrow on Friday, 2 p.m. Alaska time, 6 p.m. Eastern time, we will have our Friday live stream. So be there or be square. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out. And a little bonus clip for you all, ladies and gentlemen. If when I record my videos in the morning, the market is open, I'll go over the market indices that I look over. So as you can see here, the Dow Jones right now is negative 1.78%, meaning negative 547 or 550 as of now, taking a nice little dip. The NASDAQ is at negative 226 or 1.9%. The S&P 500, negative 2.8% or negative 79 points. And look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is incredible. Look at the dollar. The dollar is at 109. Incredible. And as you can see, oil has dropped almost 4% and is sitting at $92 and roughly 50 cents. Let's take a look at our 10-year bond. And here, this is kind of surprising to me because the dollar is going up, but so is the bond market. And the 10-year bond has gone up 6 basis points, which is not that much, but it's gone up 6 basis points. And the 30-year has gone up not even 1 basis point. But they're going up along with the dollar. And interesting indeed. And look at this. Woo! Gold is plummeting. Gold is at 1705. Now, I put gold at about 1720 a while back. I said, I think gold will go down to about 1720. But this is a nice surprise. The thing that you have to realize, for those of you that are waiting for gold or silver to go down, I'm not a financial advisor, but for those of you that are waiting for gold and silver to go down to go buy some, think about this. The demand will probably be higher because what is making gold and silver go down is one of two things, or both. That the dollar is going up, which has a direct correlation to the price of gold and silver, precious metals, and commodities as a whole, all right? Or that they're dumping gold and or silver or both into the paper market, making it look like there's more out there and that there's more selling than there really is in physical. So let's say that the price of gold here is at 1704 right now. When you go buy it, you may be paying more than what you paid for it yesterday at 1730 or 1729, whatever it was, right? Because the premiums are going up on the physical. So as it goes down, more people are awake now and more people are holding physical gold and silver, and they're buying it in the physical form, making the premiums go up. So you're not necessarily saving fiat currencies by waiting for gold and silver to bottom out. I think that dollar cost averaging is the way to go, but that's my opinion and my opinion alone. Look at silver. Silver just took a serious dump. And I just dollar cost averaged into my silver too. All right, so I dollar cost averaged into it at like 1909 or something like that, and it's now sitting at $18.20. But it would be pretty interesting to see what those premiums were. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Let's take a look at our other commodities really quick. Let's take a look at platinum. Platinum is at $8.42. I think that's a great price for platinum. And I think that platinum will eventually be higher than palladium. Here's your palladium. For those of you that don't know, platinum and palladium are a couple of metals that are used in, I think it's catalytic converters that they use these metals in. But everything is down, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. The one thing, a couple of things are up, and this is very interesting. What you're looking at right here is the price of water, the price of California water, right, on the NASDAQ. If you all remember when I went over this a long time ago, I went over it right around here when they first opened the market, not too long after they first opened the market. And I told you at this time, this was a couple, 3 years ago that I went over this. I remember doing this video. And I told you all that as soon as they started trading water in the market, that it was going to go up in price. And as you can see, we had a little dip here, which usually happens whenever you start a new indices. Usually the price that it starts off dips for a while. But look at where it's at, ladies and gentlemen. It started at 588, or it started around 588. Okay, I consider this the start. And now we are at 1,028. And I believe that that's per acre foot. So water is being traded, at least California water is being traded. That's only going to cost the price of it to go up higher and for you to pay more at the tap. Let's see what else we have here. We have wheat futures are at 814 or 814. We have our corn at 608. We have soybean at 1483. I believe this is copper. Copper is plummeting as well at 321 or 320. We have our rice at what is that, 1639, and we have lumber at 652. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's your bonus clip. Like I said, if the markets are open when I do these videos in the morning, I'll go ahead and include this in the end. Have a great day.